Let us begin with Heartbreak Hotel, launched Elvis Presley into stardom in 1956. The song spent 7 weeks at #1 on Billboard's Top 100. The echo effect on Elvis's voice was revolutionary for its time. Created by using a hallway at RCA Victor's Nashville studio as an echo chamber. The ghostly backing vocals and minimal piano created that lonely, empty feeling the lyrics describe. Mayborn Axton and Tommy Durden wrote this song after reading a newspaper article about a suicide note that simply said, "I walk a lonely street." That haunting inspiration led to one of the most influential recordings in rock and roll history. Tell me in the comments, which song from the 1950s holds the strongest memories for you? Maybe it reminds you of your first dance, or perhaps it was always playing in your grandparents' house. I would love to hear your stories.
There stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Goode, who never...
Johnny B. Goode by Chuck Berry, released in 1958, revolutionized rock and roll guitar playing. Berry created that famous intro by adapting a Louis Jordan saxophone riff to his Gibson guitar. The lyrics tell the story of a country boy who could play the guitar just like ringing a bell. Berry based the character partly on himself, changing the original colored boy to country boy to help the song reach a wider audience. The driving rhythm and that unforgettable guitar sound influenced countless musicians who followed. Every time that opening riff starts, you can picture Chuck doing his signature duck walk across the stage. Tutti Frutti burst onto the scene in 1955, showcasing Little Richard's explosive energy. The original lyrics were too risque for the times, so songwriter Dorothy Labastri helped clean them up for radio play. That famous opening line, "A wop bop, a loo bop, a wop bum boom," came from Richard's days as a dishwasher, where he would sing to keep rhythm while working. The song was recorded at Cosimo Matassa's studio in New Orleans, and they captured the magic in just 3 takes. Producer Bumps Blackwell knew they had something special when he heard Richard's powerful piano playing combined with that unforgettable vocal delivery. Tell me in the comments, what's your earliest memory of hearing this song? Was it at a special event, or maybe playing in your parents' car? I want to hear your story.
And life is like a song.
At Last by Etta James, released in 1960. Technically falls just outside our decade, but it was recorded in 1959, so let us include this timeless masterpiece. Mack Gordon and Harry Warren originally wrote this song in 1941 for a Glenn Miller film, but Etta James made it eternally her own. The lush orchestration from Riley Hampton creates a perfect backdrop for Etta's rich, emotive voice. When those strings sweep in at the beginning, it sets the stage for one of the most romantic recordings ever made. Leonard Chess of Chess Records knew this would be the song to help Etta cross over to mainstream success.
Pretending that I'm doing well.
The Great Pretender by The Platters, released in 1955, showcases what perfect vocal harmony should sound like. Buck Ram wrote this song in the bathroom of the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas. Inspiration can strike anywhere. Lead singer Tony Williams' dramatic delivery made the song especially memorable, while the rest of the group provided those smooth, supporting harmonies. The production by Ram was innovative for its time, using multiple vocal overdubs to create a richer sound. This technique would influence vocal group recordings for years to come.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing?
Why Do Fools Fall in Love came out in 1956, recorded by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. Frankie was just 13 years old when he recorded this hit. The song was written by Lyman along with Herman Santiago and Jimmy Merchant, though there were later disputes about the credits. The combination of Lyman's youthful soprano voice and the group's tight harmonies created something truly special. Morris Levy of G Records recognized the hit potential immediately. The track was recorded at Bell Sound Studios in Manhattan, with Jimmy Wright's saxophone adding that perfect touch to the arrangement. If you could travel back in time to see any of these artists perform live, who would it be? Tell me in the comments. And why that particular artist?
Life could be a dream if I could take you up.
Shboom by the Chords hit the airwaves in 1954. Though many people know the Crew Cuts cover version better, the original recording features that incredible mix of doo-wop vocals and early rock and roll energy. The song earned the nickname Life Could Be a Dream from its memorable chorus. Released on Cat Records, it became one of the first R&B recordings to cross over to the pop charts. The bouncing bass line and playful "Hey Nani Ding Dong" vocals created a fun, upbeat atmosphere that helped break down racial barriers in music, as both black and white teenagers embraced the song.
Shark bait has such teeth, dear.
Mack the Knife by Bobby Darin, released in 1959, transformed a dark German theater song into a finger-snapping jazz standard. The song originated from the Threepenny Opera by Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht in 1928. Producer Ahmet Ertegun was initially skeptical about recording it, but Darin insisted. The arrangement by Richard Wess, with its building intensity and swinging brass section, helped the song spend 9 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Darin recorded this at Fulton Studios in New York City, completing it in just 2 takes. The way he changes his delivery throughout the song, starting cool and relaxed, then building to that energetic final verse, shows his incredible vocal control.
Love me, sweetie, never let me.
Love Me Tender came to us in 1956, marking Elvis Presley's second #1 hit. The melody came from a Civil War-era song called Ora Lee, with new lyrics by Ken Darby under the pseudonym Vera Mattson. Elvis recorded this at Fox Studios in Hollywood for his first movie of the same name. The simple arrangement, featuring just vocals and acoustic guitar, was quite different from his usual rockabilly style. Producer George R. Potberg insisted on multiple takes to capture the tender, intimate feeling they wanted. The song's success helped establish Elvis as more than just a rock and roll singer, showing he could handle romantic ballads with equal skill. Try to write the next line of your favorite song from this list in the comments, without looking it up. Let's see how well you remember these classics.
Get out of that kitchen, baby, wash your face and hands.
Shake, Rattle, and Roll exploded onto the scene in 1954, first recorded by Big Joe Turner, and later covered by Bill Haley and his Comets. The original version, produced by Atlantic Records' Jerry Wexler and Ahmet Ertegun, featured that raw, powerful R&B sound that defined the early 1950s. Jesse Stone wrote the song, though it was credited to his pseudonym, Charles E. Calhoun. Turner recorded it at Atlantic Studios in New York, with the legendary Sam the Man Taylor on saxophone. The song's infectious rhythm and playful lyrics about food and romance helped establish the foundation for rock and roll.
About a Saturday night, a rough double tussle action in the tussle.
Splish Splash by Bobby Darin, released in 1958, was written in just 12 minutes. Murray the K bet Darin that he could not write a song that started with the line, "Splish Splash, I was taking a bath." Darin proved him wrong and created this novelty rock hit. The song was recorded at Atlantic Studios in New York, with Tom Dowd engineering the session. The sound effects of running water and a rubber duck were added for extra fun. Producer Jerry Wexler helped create that perfect balance of silly lyrics and serious rock and roll energy, making it impossible not to smile when you hear it.
Baby, won't you squeeze me once?
Put Your Head on My Shoulder by Paul Anka came out in 1959. Anka wrote this romantic ballad himself at just 18 years old. Don Costa's lush orchestral arrangement perfectly complemented Anka's sincere vocal delivery. The song was recorded at RCA Victor's Studio A in New York, known for its wonderful natural reverb. The production team used the studio's echo chamber to create that dreamy atmosphere that wrapped around Anka's voice. That combination of teenage romance and sophisticated production helped the song reach number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Was there a special song from this list that your parents or grandparents always played? Share that memory in the comments. I love hearing these family stories.
Clock, 12 o'clock, rock, we're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad rags on, join me.
Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and His Comets, released in 1954, was not an immediate hit. Written by Max Friedman and James Myers, the song initially appeared as a B-side. Producer Milt Gabler recorded it at Pythian Temple Studios in New York City, capturing that energetic performance in just 2 takes. The breakthrough came when it was used in the film Blackboard Jungle in 1955. The driving guitar work by Danny Cedrone, featuring his influential solo, helped establish the song as a rock and roll anthem. The recording techniques were innovative for their time. They placed the microphones close to the instruments to capture a more aggressive sound. This approach created that powerful rock and roll energy that would influence countless recordings to follow.
Too soon, my secret love.
Secret Love by Doris Day, released in 1953, earned an Academy Award for Best Original Song from the film Calamity Jane. Sammy Fain and Paul Francis Webster wrote this beautiful ballad, which Day recorded at Columbia Records Studios in Hollywood. The orchestral arrangement by Percy Faith provided a lush backdrop for Day's crystal-clear vocals. The song required careful microphone technique. Day had to step back during the powerful crescendos and move closer for the intimate moments. Producer Mitch Miller insisted on multiple takes to capture the perfect balance of power and tenderness. The song spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard charts, demonstrating how a Hollywood musical number could become a pop standard. If you could have been in the recording studio for any one of these songs, which session would you choose? Tell me why in the comments.
Get ready now, go cat go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoes.
Blue Suede Shoes by Carl Perkins, released in 1955, helped establish the rockabilly sound. Perkins wrote the song after hearing a story about a man protective of his fancy footwear. Sam Phillips produced the track at Sun Studio in Memphis, capturing that perfect blend of country and rhythm and blues. The recording featured Perkins' distinctive guitar work, his brother Jay on rhythm guitar, Clayton Perkins on bass, and W.S. Holland on drums. Phillips used his signature slap-back echo effect, created by using 2 Ampex tape recorders. This technique gave the record that distinctive Sun Studio sound that helped define early rock and roll. The song reached number 1 on the country charts and number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
16 coaches long.
Mystery Train by Elvis Presley, released in 1955, was recorded at Sun Studio in Memphis. The song was originally performed by Junior Parker, but Sam Phillips helped Elvis create a completely new arrangement. The recording featured Scotty Moore's innovative guitar work and Bill Black's driving bass line. Phillips captured the performance using his minimal recording setup, just 3 microphones and his signature tape delay effect. The echo on Elvis's voice and Moore's guitar created that haunting sound that made the track so memorable. This recording represents the perfect blend of country, blues, and early rock and roll that defined the Sun sound. Even today, many consider this one of Elvis's finest performances from his Sun Records period.
Having a lot of fun, oh baby. Yeah, baby. Ooh.
Long Tall Sally by Little Richard, released in 1956, showcases the raw energy that made him the architect of rock and roll. Producer Robert Blackwell captured this explosive performance at J&M Studios in New Orleans. The song, written by Robert Blackwell, Inatris Johnson, and Little Richard, features that signature New Orleans sound with Earl Palmer's driving drums and Lee Allen's saxophone. The recording setup was fairly simple, just a few microphones positioned to capture the full power of Richard's voice and piano playing. The song's title came from Richard's childhood memory of a tall woman who used to carry moonshine in her long coat. The infectious energies and Richard's incredible vocal performance helped the song reach number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. Blueberry Hill by Fats Domino, released in 1956, was not a new song when Domino recorded it. Written in 1940, it took Domino's unique New Orleans rhythm and blues style to make it a classic. Producer Dave Bartholomew recorded it at Cosimo Matassa's J&M Studios in New Orleans, using the studio's natural acoustics to create that warm sound. Domino's rolling piano style and gentle vocal delivery transformed the song into something special. The arrangement featured the perfect blend of saxophones, with Herbert Hardesty's tenor sax solo becoming a memorable part of the recording. The song spent 11 weeks in the Billboard Top 40 and became one of Domino's signature performances. Which of these songs do you think has had the biggest impact on today's music? Make your case in the comments.
Kansas City, here I come.
Kansas City by Wilbert Harrison, released in 1959, took a Lieber and Staller composition to number 1. Producer Bobby Robinson recorded it at Bell Sound Studios in New York City, capturing that perfect mix of rhythm and blues and early rock and roll. The memorable guitar riff came from Wild Jimmy Spruill, while session musician King Curtis added the saxophone parts. The recording was remarkably simple, just Harrison's voice and piano, guitar, drums, and saxophone. Yet this stripped-down arrangement helped create one of the most influential recordings of the decade. The song's success inspired numerous cover versions and helped establish Kansas City as a significant location in rock and roll mythology.
Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown by the Coasters, released in 1959, showcases the playful storytelling style of songwriters Lieber and Staller. Producer Jerry Lieber recorded this at Atlantic Studios in New York, featuring King Curtis on saxophone and Mike Staller arranging. The song's character became an instant cultural icon, the lovable class clown who was always in trouble. The call-and-response vocals between lead singer Cornell Gunter and the rest of the group created that perfect comic timing. The saxophone riff by Curtis became one of the most recognizable instrumental hooks in rock and roll. The recording demonstrates the Coasters' ability to blend humor with sophisticated rhythm and blues arrangements.
Enough to dance and sing, old enough to get that swing, past 16.
17 by Boyd Bennett and His Rockets, released in 1955, captures the essence of teenage life in the 50s. Recorded at King Records in Cincinnati, producer Ralph Bass helped create that driving rock and roll sound. The song's celebration of youth and cars resonated perfectly with the emerging teenage culture. The arrangement featured a honking saxophone by Sam the Man Taylor and dynamic piano work by Bennett himself. The recording setup used multiple microphones to capture the full band sound, with special attention paid to the rhythm section. This technique helped create that powerful rock and roll energy that made teenagers want to dance. The song reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became an anthem for youth culture. Give me your 3-word review of your favorite song from this list in the comments. Just 3 words to capture why it's special to you. And there you have it, friends. 20 incredible songs that helped shape the sound of the 1950s. Remember to like, subscribe, and share your favorite memories in the comments below. Until next time, keep the music playing and the memories alive.